Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video I have a Retribution Paladin update. When this information came out, I wanted to make a video right away, but this change was not in the patch notes, so I wanted to be a little bit cautious with it. It's now been over 24 hours, and they still haven't changed it or anything like that. There's still no patch notes about it, but if you don't know, when the 2-set bonus has been changed on the PTR, from 2 seconds of Seraphim to 3 seconds of Seraphim. This is actually does make a difference. It's only 1 second, and we'll kind of talk about that. But you know, this makes a bit of a difference. Now, this could just be reverted back. It could have been an accident. It could have been like a secret test because they knew Retribution Paladins would test it out a lot, and they just wanted to see what it looked like. But it's actually quite nice, and it makes a noticeable difference for sure. And it makes sense of why it would, because for most people, you're going to be like doubling your globals from the proc that you're getting in on your Seraphim. So again, this has changed from 2 to 3 seconds, and it does make a difference. So what does this mean? Does this make us a top DPS? No, of course not. It's only 1 more second of Seraphim. Does this improve us? Of course it does, because you know, it was 2 seconds, which is for many people 1 global cooldown, because to be reliable, you would need a swing timer, and most people are not going to use a swing timer. I'm not going to use a swing timer. I'm sorry, I draw my line somewhere in this game, and I would not use a swing timer myself. So, including myself, I would very likely only get 1 global in many times during that 2-second proc. But with a 3-second proc, it's very easy and common to get in 2 global cooldowns. So let's double, right? That's a 100% increase of globals inside of your Seraphim proc. So of course there's a noticeable, not humongous, but a noticeable amount of damage increase from this. Very, very nice actually. Like I noticed it. You know, I didn't do extensive testing. I don't have numbers for you yet. I might do extensive testing, although the patch is almost here. But I definitely want to wait till it's officially in the patch notes before I waste time doing it, though, because I don't want it just to be reverted randomly. But yeah, like in the few polls that I did do, it was, you know, it was a good amount of damage more. So like what we're getting now with this also, because they fixed the bug with Seraphim. If you don't know, before it was bugged to where this 2-set would overwrite your Seraphim. So your hard cast 15 seconds would be overwritten by a 2-second Seraphim. But now that's not the case. Your 15-second will overwrite your procs, though. So you do have to keep that in mind. But your procs will not overwrite your Seraphim. So if you cast Seraphim and immediately get a proc, then that'll go to 18 seconds if it was literally immediate. And then you can continue to stack it from there. And, you know, it was very common for me to have, what was it, 24 to 27 seconds of uptime. Or not, it was more than that. It was 18 seconds remaining. So, yeah, 27. Yeah, so about 50% uptime. About 50% uptime is about correct. So that was very common for me to have about 50% uptime on this. That still does not seem right. Yeah, but it is. Anyways, more than 50 even for me. I was doing that math wrong. 54 would be half. So a little, you know, a little bit more than 50%. For me personally, in limited testing, it's probably going to be closer to 50% on average. But that's like without heroism. Maybe you get a power infusion, Wind Fury, and then people were talking about maybe taking Crusade as a talent to kind of increase haste, try to get more auto attacks in to get more procs, and maybe, you know, for your through your first wings with Lust or Heroism with, you know, some externals or whatever, or Wind Fury, whatever, maybe having your Seraphim stay up for the entire time. So it lasts 45 seconds and you press Seraphim again, and now you get to start over again, you know, this time only lasting for, you know, 30 seconds or whatever. And, you know, but having essentially you know, over a minute straight of Seraphim, well, like a minute and a half of Seraphim straight, so that's pretty substantial. So that's something people were talking about. It's not necessarily actually going to be the case at this point. We'd have to find 6 more procs to do that, at least from where I'm standing right now. I'd need to find 6 more procs. Maybe you could do that by socketing all haste or all haste gear. Perhaps you could get there. and then heroism, power infusion, and literally stack everything on yourself. Maybe it's possible then, and some people will get that if it is possible, and that's cool. But I don't see this being world changing or anything. Let's kind of bring back the hype a little bit. This is just a good change. It's not world changing though. If it were 4 seconds, it could possibly be world changing. I'm not gonna lie, but with the 3 seconds, it is a noticeable buff. I can't wait to see some simulations and stuff to see exactly how much of a buff it is. Is it 100 DPS? Is it 5? To me, it felt pretty noticeable. Like, I'm not comfortable putting numbers on it early, but for me, it felt quite noticeable. 500 plus DPS increase just from this change over like a 5-minute fight, and maybe even more than that. But it felt quite noticeable to me. But we'll see when the actual numbers come out. It seemed noticeable is probably the best way I can put it. So I'm very excited about this because at least that means that they know we exist. Getting in this extra second here. This is pretty much going to guarantee now. It was already pretty much a guarantee that we'll probably want to run Zeal as the tier 1 thing, which also will mean that likely we won't have to run Pelagos. You can run Forge Light, for example. So then you have Zeal. You have Forge Light. So there's a couple changes. A lot of people were speculating about Crusade. Some people were speculating about Sanctified Wrath to make Avenging Wrath last longer, since your Seraphim is now going to last a little bit longer. Some people are speculating about that perhaps being good as well. Simulations will tell the tale on there. I did do a little bit of testing with Crusade, and I will say Crusade alone does not make the difference of getting all the extra procs and stuff like that. They're more talking about Crusade on the opener with Heroism or Bloodlust, with Wind Fury, Totem, all that kind of stuff together. Maybe that makes enough difference, right? So in a perfect situation or on your opener, it perhaps would make enough of a difference to carry it through an entire fight. Other than that, I do still see Final Reckoning, just in general, still being the talent choice here. It makes things a little bit awkward because then you still are holding your Seraphim a bit because you're going to want to use it with your Divine Toll, and then of course the Final Reckoning as well. So you're still kind of playing 1 minute, with the difference being that you're using your Wake of Ashes on cooldown, which is which is kind of the plan, before this change as well. It's just as of now, that wouldn't be the case. Now, if you take Crusade, things do kind of change where you are kind of just popping everything. Obviously, you want to make sure Seraphim is up for your wings, of course, but it becomes less of a deal. Although I do truly think you're going to want to always save your Seraphim hardcast for your Divine Toll, or you hold your Divine Toll until you have a proc of it at least, because it's going to benefit substantially from that. So just some interesting things to think about here. Again, going out of the 1 minute build almost. And by 1 minute build, that includes execution sentence, right? So we're almost for sure going out of execution sentence for this patch, which is good. I would love to see some changes in general. Will we go to Crusade? That's another big change. Going from Pelagos to Forge Light Prime, that's a nice change. And these changes are, in fact, not harder changes, right? If we are going to this 1 minute build, then that would be an increase in difficulty. Anything else, this is as far as Ret Paladin goes, this is the hardest build, the 1 minute build, because you're handling a bunch of 1 minute cooldowns. You're doing the setup for it perfectly. You have to do the rotation perfectly to get the correct number of spenders into your execution sentence and everything. It is the hardest way to play Retribution Paladin. So if we can, go to an easier build and do more damage, I think that's something that everyone can mostly get behind. I'm sure there's some people who like the execution sentence build. But yeah, if we can go to Forge Light and play this build, then that would be good. Now, while I'm saying that I still think Final Reckoning will probably be the go-to there, I would love if it was Crusade, and I would love if it was Sanctified Wrath. I would love both of those, so I can't wait to see simulations on this. Like I said, I'll have, I said in the previous rep video that I made, I'll have a detailed Retribution Paladin DPS guide for 9.2 like I do every patch when that's ready. And this one will be exciting because I'll actually get to kind of make changes. In the 9.1, it was mostly the same, except for it's like, hey, we're using Divine Resonance now. Everything else is the same. Here's how you use Divine Resonance. So this could be interesting. Now, I will also say this could possibly open up a Covenant differentiation here if... I don't know what all the soul binds do, honestly, for every single covenant. I mostly play Ret, and then so therefore I mostly play Kyrian. So I don't know what every single soul bind for all the covenants do. But if there's one that gives some sort of haste or something, again, if there's some weird haste stacking thing with Crusade, perhaps a soul bind itself could carry the day to, again, give you more uptime on your Seraphim. I have no idea. That's pure speculation. But that could be interesting as well. And that, for instance, is going to have to be found through simulations because I am not going to try I do not have enough time, personally at least. Maybe there are some people that do have enough time to go through every single soul bind and test it out. So that's not going to happen for me. Somebody might do that. But mostly I think we're going to be waiting for the simulations on that and see if that's the case. But as of right now, let's just end this video with the idea that, well, with the knowledge as of now, the 2 set is from 2 to 3 seconds. I will say the difference was noticeable for me, especially with the final verdict, single target. I mostly do single target testing, so it was noticeable. And then I do think that the talents are kind of going to be what I said in the last video that I was talking about testing, where this would kind of probably be the talent setup. But if it's Crusade or Sanctified Wrath, I will be very happy. I will not complain at all if that's the case. And since you're not doing 1 minute build, if we do remain Kyrian, which we likely will because it's the strongest Covenant legendary, but if we, again, I would be happy to be wrong with that. Just like Final Reckoning, happy to be wrong with Kyrian, happy to be wrong with Final Reckoning, but we can possibly use Forge Light Prime instead of Pelagos as our soul bind. So that's kind of what I'm predicting as of right now. Kind of this talent setup, probably Forge Light. Happy to be wrong about anything, frankly, as long as it increases our damage. If the damage is increased, I will be wrong about anything. I will not be wrong about anything in the Ret Paladin DPS guide. It'll be all accurate based on any knowledge that has been gained through the simulations and through, countless people's work. I'm only one person. Countless people who, some people who do this as a full-time job even, and combining and collecting all what is that called? When you combine all the data from a bunch of different sources, and then just kind of giving the information out. So that's about it for this video. I don't know if we'll have another Ret Paladin update before my Ret Paladin DPS guide. If so, hopefully it's another buff and not that this is getting reverted. So that's it for this one. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.